There are a few Sony franchises that I'd like to see in other genres. We've seen them try this in the past. Ratchet & Clank has tackled a tower defense game, Little Big Planet even had a racing game in the same vein as Mod Nation Racers, but what else would be great to see? Now while this one isn't exactly a totally different genre, I would like to see another PlayStation All-Stars that is in the style of a traditional one-on-one fighting game, instead of a Smash Bros. Style platform fighter like the original. With Sony coming out with their own arcade fighting stick controller and the Marvel Talk-On game next year, I could definitely see an All-Stars that had a deeper combo system, 4 face buttons for different attacks, and more traditional health bars instead of only being able to eliminate your opponents using your special moves. With a more focused approach, you target a more passionate following, with fighting game enthusiasts much more interested, and casual fighting game players more impressed with the movesets. You might have some trouble adapting characters like Sackboy and Spike into traditional fighting game characters, but if Capcom can work it out with Toro, who was in Street Fighter X Tekken, then I'm sure you could pull it off with almost any Sony character. It could even have tag team mechanics like the upcoming Marvel Talk-On to have characters team up against their rivals, incorporating that same rival aspect from PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Essentially what I am just saying here is that I'd like to see Marvel Talk-On, but swap out the Marvel characters for PlayStation characters. That is kind of the aim of this section. I think it would perform much better as well than the previous All-Stars game, which got a lot of flack at the time and being compared to Smash Bros. And because so much time has passed since the previous fighter, the roster will be full of new faces. You got like Aloy, Atsu, Jin Sakai, even Joel and Ellie weren't around at the time of the previous All-Stars, and is Astro Bot, and that's a couple to name a few, there are just so many. Now speaking of Astro Bot, I would love to see this guy get a kart racing game. This IP is just perfect for it. Give it a campaign mode like Crash Team Racing, the bosses could be the mechanical monsters from the base game, but in karts. Playable characters could be the VIP bots, maybe featuring some new ones like Sweet Tooth, which sadly still isn't in Astro Bot yet. Racetracks could be styled after different PlayStation IP, but with the charming Astro Bot design and twists. You've got all of Astro's gadgets to make multiple power-ups out of. It's a no-brainer really. You could even bring over Mod Nation Racers Track Create mode so you can design your own tracks and share them online. Astro Bot is the perfect IP for Sony to spin off into different projects, and a kart racer is perfect to add some online and local co-op into the first-party PS5 catalogue. This next one I kind of touched on in my video about Sony franchises that I'd like to see again. A Sly Cooper game, but one that instead of being a linear platformer, fully embraced its hub world gameplay and took on an open world action adventure approach. In the same style as Sucker Punch's more recent Ghost games and the infamous ones before that. How awesome it would be to be able to control Sly, Bentley and Murray in a larger open world, still capturing that iconic noir cel-shaded comic book design. Sly could get all new wall climbing abilities or a grappling hook to scale rooftops with ease. You would have all of your tightrope walking abilities, and you could jump into your Cooper van and drive around the open world. I think it's a natural progression for this series to at least give the open world genre a try, and think it would fit Sly's design really well. Obviously you have the question of where would you have the open world take place, because obviously a lot of the Sly games take place in many different locations, and that's the advantage of a linear platformer as the other games. But I think if they settle down on one big location that maybe splits off into different parts, much like the Ghost of Yote open world, I think they can really pull it off. This next one I really want to see them try the most, no question about it, and that is a MediEvil Souls-like game. Think Sir Daniel's humour and the Tim Burton inspired Halloween themes of MediEvil, mixed with the skillful combat and get up and try again design of the Souls games, along with the terrifying bosses and gothic atmosphere dripping levels of Bloodborne. MediEvil is certainly in need of a comeback, and I think this would be an excellent modern take on the series that would definitely be able to capture a larger audience than the previous attempt to bring MediEvil back on the PS4, which stuck very close to its PS1 roots. Well, there is kind of an oversaturation in the Souls-like genre at the minute, with a lot of AAA developers and indie developers following this suit. I still think that the MediEvil franchise would be fantastic to see made into a Souls-like game, and it is a project that I would really like to see happen. Next game I want to see is Killzone, adapted into a real-time strategy game. Similar to what Xbox did with Halo Wars, not only is it the right time to bring Killzone back, but have a different perspective on the franchise, with resource managing and building your own army, setting out into the kill zone to plunder enemy bases. You've got a lot of vehicles and infantry classes from the series to include here. I think it would fit this genre really well and add something new to this aging series. Give it 2 different campaigns played from the ISA side and the Helghast side, and give it multiplayer support, and I think this could be a fantastic way to revive Killzone today. This last one is a bit of a stretch, but hear me out. God of War has had some incredible music tracks over the course of its 20-year history, from fast, chaotic beats to slower, somber tunes. They even encompass 2 very different styles, with the choir-heavy Greek music to the low notes of the Norse music. Well, how epic would it be to relive both of the God of War sagas in a rhythm game? Much like Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory or the Final Fantasy Theatre rhythm games. Rhythm of War, what a very cool spin-off this could be. You'd have all the tracks from the series, you could play footage of the boss battles in the background, while the keys fly on screen, reliving these epic moments and retelling this story, but in a whole new way that would appeal to older fans and newcomers alike. Maybe it's just me, but I think this would be a very awesome project to see. However, these are just some ramblings of a fan. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see any of these ideas come to life, and what Sony franchises would you have cross into another genre. If you want to see more videos about PlayStation, then be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Take care.